Hey, hi everyone. I'll wait a little bit longer to see if anyone is going to be joining me live. Now, I had an event in this group for this session, but for some reason it just wouldn't let me go live from it, so I've had to do it within the group rather than within that specific event. So, I'd love to know who is watching me live. So if you're watching me now, please comment in the comments, say hey, let me know who it is, who you are, and why you're here. So I'm gonna let this go for a little bit longer whilst I'm waiting, and then I will get started. So for those who don't know, hi, I am Alessia. I am a mama to 3, and I'm going to give you a little bit of my backstory of why I have got the business I have. So I am the founder and owner and coach at Dea Coaching. So Dea stands for goddess. I'm Italian, so Dea is goddess in Italian, and that's why I chose that name. And the reason I chose to go down this path of supporting other women is because I was at a place in my life where I felt completely broken. A lot of people don't like that word, but I'm using it for how I felt at the time. At the time I felt that. At the time I felt that there was no hope. So if you're going to go back a few years now, so when we were in lockdown, I came to the decision that if I wasn't going to make a change, I didn't feel like I was going to survive the upcoming few years, like decades left in me. So I have got complex PTSD, and I have that due to an abusive relationship I went through when I was 19. That person then stalked me for nearly 4 years. So that's why I have complex PTSD. I had that. I then went into another abusive relationship, and that was with my ex-husband and the father of my 3 children. That was narcissistic abuse, coercive control, financial abuse, emotional abuse, and that went on for 10 years. In lockdown, I think for a lot of people it was either like, right, this has seriously woken me up, I want to now make a change, or for some people it was a real struggle, and it really affected them in so many different ways where they felt more stuck than ever. For me, it was wake up, Alessia, life is short, let's create change. And I got a coaching accreditation. I worked as a family support worker for over 15 years, and I did that where I trained in all sorts of different areas such as mental health, domestic abuse, all sorts of different things, solution focused therapy, trauma therapy. So I had a lot of experience in this field, but I was in an abusive relationship myself. And at that point where I couldn't see people, where I was isolated, and where I had to work still because I was a key worker, so I still had to work, plus I had to homeschool, plus I had to manage home, I recognised in myself that I was completely gone. I started self-harming again. My depression got to a point where it was just unmanageable. I was extremely anxious, and my overthinking got to a point where I couldn't even do a basic task without doubting myself. And I recognised that a lot of that has stemmed from the abusive relationship I had when I was 19, but then the fact that I was in this abusive marriage. Now, at that point I said, okay, so I have all this experience behind me, I have this coaching accreditation now, let's create a coaching business to create financial abundance for myself. Because I knew at some point I was going to leave that marriage, but I felt financially unable to. So I thought, let's create this business and I can create financial stability without even thinking about my mental health or anything. That's what I seem to be focused on. During this time, I learned a lot around mindset. I learned a lot around self-worth, self-care, all the tools and the things that you need to become the best version of yourself. I recognized in myself that if I did not make these changes, then I would not be the best mum I could be for my kids, and I might not even be around anymore. At that point, that's how bad it was. So I started to then read, and I listened to podcasts, and I really got into self-development, and I realized there was this whole other world I never even knew existed. And I kind of thought, do you know what? I want this, and I feel I can do this. So that moment was when I said to myself, enough's enough. You deserve more. You can get more, and you're going to do this not just for you, but for your children. So I started to do Couch to 5K. This is a girl that wouldn't even run up the stairs. Girls, I hated it. I did Couch to 5K to escape the home for a little bit, and it was my time to listen to a podcast. It was my time to really think about what I was going to be doing. I smashed 5K. To this day, I still can't believe it. I did it. The girl who wouldn't even run up the stairs, who couldn't even run down the road without being out of breath, I did it. And I realised, oh my goodness, I am more than capable of creating my dream life here. I am more than capable of doing what I really dream to do. Now, I didn't even know who I was at this stage, okay? I didn't even know what my favourite colour was anymore. You lose yourself so much in toxic relationships, and I really did lose who I was. And also with mental health, you lose yourself as well, and you kind of just plod along. Now, I started to get to know who I was again. And so through all of these things I'm going to be teaching you, that is how I've got to where I am today. So in COVID, in lockdown, I had no choice, unfortunately, because he refused to leave the family home that we owned. So I had to leave with the children. So we had to leave our family home. I had to start all over again. I had no money because I hadn't started my coaching business yet. And my mental health was fragile. But I started to lay a foundation to enable me to leave. And that's the key here, is we're going to be talking about our foundation and how to make a real sturdy, badass, strong foundation to then start your journey of creating your dream life. Because that's the key in all this, is creating your foundation. So I started to do that. I cemented it. I did so much work every single day. I worked on who I was. So I was able to leave. And then after I left, 2 months later, I lost my job because they decided they were not going to support me through what I was going through. They said that I wasn't going to be able to be as flexible as they wanted me to be. So I was like, what? That was literally the cherry on top. And I felt myself spiraling. I felt myself going, oh my God, I have lost everything. Everything. And I just felt so responsible for these 3 little humans in front of me. And I thought, I just don't know what I'm going to do. But remember the foundation that I started to solidify for myself? That was still there. Those few little areas that I solidified were still there. And that's what kept me going. And then what I did was I built on that. And I completely solidified the whole of my foundation. To the point where, no matter what my ex did, because he still continually tried to control me, it was hell, I was still able to keep going. If somebody told me, Alessia, in a few years' time, this is what's going to happen to you, I'd have gone, I would not survive that. I wouldn't survive that. But I did. And I think if I did not build my foundation to be as strong as it is today, I would never have done that, and I would still be stuck in that house with that man, with no money, because I was in debt. I still am. I'm still trying to pay it all off. But I'm so happy. And I'm earning more than I ever have before in my life. I'm the happiest I have been. So from that, of feeling broken, feeling lost, feeling like I didn't know who I was, I created my dream life. And my dream was to have a house that felt like home, where I could decorate it however I wanted, because I wasn't allowed to. And I never felt at home. to feel free, to feel safe, to have my children with me, being happy and being able to be children rather than having to feel like they had to be quiet all the time, being able to be my own boss, being able to earn more money than what I ever have, and to feel like I had control over my own life, to be able to go to other countries, to go on holiday, to have days out, have memories, make memories, have fun. That was the idea of what my dream life would be. So the first thing for you to do is to think about what you want. Now, sometimes when I ask my clients, what is it that you want? They literally don't have a clue. So then what I say to them is, right, I want you to write your name in the middle of the page. And around that page, I want you to put everything that you feel sparks joy in you. From your favorite color to your favorite food, to your favorite shop, to your favorite coffee shop, to your favorite place to walk, to scenes that you love to look at, like sunsets or sunrises, mountains or forests. Music, what's your favorite type of music? What makes you feel good? Get to know you first. That's the first thing I want you to do. Is get to know you. Who are you? What do you love? What defines you? What do you feel you want to look back and go, I did that, or I had that type of moral and that type of outlook on life and I followed that. I did something to show that's something I was passionate about. Like, to me, I feel like you need to be kind to everybody because everyone has a story. Be kind. Show compassion. That's something I feel really strong about. So I will then use that in my everyday life through charity work, through my coaching, because it's something I'm really passionate about. So what kind of things do you love? What kind of things do you believe in? What would you like people to know you as? The person that makes amazing cakes and gives them to friends and makes them feel good. The person that's an amazing listener and then has created a business from that by becoming a counsellor. The person that is an incredible painter and paints pictures that makes people go, wow, that's incredible. What do you want to be known for? I want to be known for the woman that helps other women transform their lives to become absolutely energetic and enigmatic. Oh, God, that's good, isn't it? I don't even know that word. The person that helps women become the most confident versions of themselves. The person that helps women see their worth and see their full potential. The woman that can help other women recover and heal from domestic abuse. That is what I want to be known for. What do you want to be known for? So I'd love for you to really delve deep into that. And it might take a couple of days for you to complete this, and that's absolutely fine. And there's going to be things that you might be driving around somewhere and going, oh my God, yes, look at that, I really love that. Add it on. Get to know yourself again. Get to know who you are. Get to know what sets your soul on fire. What is it? And this took me a little while. But then literally, after I lost my job, 2 weeks later, I set up a business because I knew a skill that I had was social media. I knew marketing. So I was thinking, okay, this is a skill I have. This is something that I could create a business from. So I did. And then I recognized I have a real skill to enable women to change their lives, because I've done it as a family support worker, and I've done it for myself, and I am continuing to do it. So I was thinking, let's do this. So I created my coaching business. I was able to create 2 businesses after losing everything and being at such a low point. So the point of me saying this is that no matter where you're at, no matter how low you feel, you can create change. And the key to creating change is by taking action. It doesn't matter how the action looks. It doesn't matter how the action might seem to other people. It doesn't matter. Take action. from that, I continued with my self-development. So after getting to know who I was, getting to know what sparked my joy, I then created 2 businesses that I knew were going to create a lot of freedom, a lot of financial stability for myself and my kids. The next thing was, right, I've done that. Continue to let it grow, continue to let it grow. So that's what I kept doing. I kept growing it and growing it and growing it and growing it. But I kept working on my foundation because I realized that my foundation was still not quite there. So the next thing I did was I recognized, okay, having a routine as a human is vital. It is vital. If you're on summer holidays now with your children and you're not doing the school routine, at the beginning you're like, thank God I don't have to do that. I don't know about you, but I was like, hate the school routine in the morning and in the afternoon. But the thing you might start to feel now is, I miss that routine. You might feel a little bit unsure. You might wake up and be like, oh God, I feel overwhelmed now. I don't really know what to do first. And that's because you haven't got a routine. I'm a very chilled person. I'm not somebody who is very strict with routines at all. Absolutely not. But I recognized by creating a routine with real powerful habits in, it helped me become unstoppable. And I actually had a very similar routine to help me to leave the marriage and the home. But then I stopped it when I left, and I realized that's what was missing. So the next thing I want to look at is, what do I do that helps my mind feel good, that helps my body feel good, and therefore helps me as a person feel good? What do you do? A lot of the time people go, I don't think I really do anything, to be honest. Let's change that. So let's say you normally wake up at 8:30. What we're going to do is we're going to say to ourselves, right, I'm going to change that by 10 minutes. That's all. I'm going to wake up 10 minutes earlier. And in those 10 minutes, I'm going to sit down with a hot drink. In those 10 minutes, I'm going to meditate for 2 of those minutes. And I'm then going to journal, and I'm then going to move my body. You don't have to do a workout, just move my body to a song that makes me feel real good. I guarantee you, if you put a song on that makes you feel good and you move to that, you will feel so much more energetic afterwards. You will feel a release of this energy inside of you that's going to make you feel so good and confident. I don't know about you, but if I'm feeling a bit rubbish, in my car I will put on a certain song and I'm gone. Beyonce. It's always Beyonce. I'm a survivor. What a tune. That puts a different energy inside of me that enables me to face my day in a very different way than if I hadn't listened to that. Sometimes you might feel you wake up and go, oh my God, I just don't want today. I don't want to get out of bed. Okay? You are going to get out of bed because you're going to put on a song that's going to make you feel good and then get out of bed. Have a routine in your morning. No matter how little it is, no matter how big it is, it doesn't matter, as long as it's something that is manageable and you can keep adding to it if you want to. So how I first started this was, my kids woke up at 5:30, so that's pretty early. But I would then do 10 minutes before 5 o'clock, so 10 to 5 I'd wake up. For the first few times, don't get me wrong, I was like, oh my gosh. But wow, did I get those done in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes I would journal, I'd listen to affirmations, and I would read a little bit of my book with a hot drink with me. It made me feel good. Then whilst I'd getting the kids sorted with breakfast, I would then listen to affirmations. And then whilst they were eating, I would move my body. So I would do like a 5-10 minute workout or a stretch. I would then have a shower, and I'd then be ready for my day. And on the way to driving them to school, I would listen to a really incredible mantra. Can you see how creating small changes can create an incredible impact? And this is going to shift your mindset, and it's all part of making your foundation concrete, okay? To create change in your life, to create your dream life, you have to start simple, and you have to start sifting through everything. You can't just go, right, my dream life is going to be, I want to start my own business because I want to make this amount of money, I'm going to buy this house, and then I'm going to go and travel the world. And then you sit there and you think, okay, well, set up my business, boom. Come on. It's not going to work like that. You have to work from within first. Within. Without this, nothing is going to happen. You can physically, set up an Instagram page and get a few followers on there by doing reels and stuff like that, but then nothing else is going to happen because you're going to have all of these limiting beliefs. You're going to have all of these blocks inside of you that's going to stop you from getting that little bit further, and it's going to make it difficult. And that's the key. We don't want this to be tricky. We want this to come with ease. So I want you to get to know who you are. Who are you? Then I want you to start looking at your morning or your evening routine. Look at your habits. What habits do you have? Is the first thing you do when you wake up, is it look at your phone? Or is it listen to some really, beautiful forest sounds to help you wake up in a bit more of a brighter way? Or is it slap the alarm on for another 5 minutes and just snooze? And then you end up feeling even worse than you did before, and waking up and then looking at the phone and then making yourself a coffee and just doing the mundane routine of getting yourself ready for work or getting the kids sorted. Instead, we're going to create an absolute badass morning routine. So I want you to really look at your routine now. I want you to think about small changes you can make in that and create huge impacts. So let's say you're going to now start to learn to meditate for a minute or two. It doesn't have to be long at all. You're going to get yourself a book that is something you've wanted to read, and you start to read that in your morning before the kids wake up or before you have to start getting ready for work. Or you're going to make yourself a nutritious breakfast the night before for that morning, and you're going to really enjoy it rather than rush around. Or you're going to start listening to music that makes you feel good whilst you're getting breakfast sorted, and therefore you're going to feel that little bit better. So can you see how it's such a small change, but it can create such a huge impact? It takes 21 days for something to be a habit. So remember that as well. Don't just do this for 1 or 2 days and think it's going to make a change. You have to continuously, consistently do this. Don't get me wrong, there'll be moments where you might forget, or there'll be moments where things happen and therefore you can't do it, and that's okay. Just whack yourself back onto that wagon and keep going again. So get to know who you are, create an absolute ignited morning routine or evening routine, and really step into that energy of the woman that has her dream life. So when you wake up, say to yourself, how do I want to feel today? Really listen to yourself. How do I want to feel? Do I want to feel tired and grumpy? No, I want to feel energetic and motivated. Okay, so what can I do to feel those things? What's going to help me get there? Talking to yourself isn't a bad thing. I do it all the friggin' time. All the time. Constantly. So those things are really important to start building that strong foundation, is making those changes. Another really good thing to do is create your vision. Create it in front of your eyes. You can do this by physically creating a vision board, or you can actually visualize it in your mind. So you're just going to sit there and you're going to literally close your eyes and just say, right, what do I want from my life? And imagine it coming to life. Imagine it in your head coming to life. Look at it all. What's all the details of it? Really get clear on what you want. And until you do that, you're never going to be able to create your dream life because you don't know what you want. If it's something like creating my dream life, part of that is going to be going to a certain country. Okay, great. What's the country? Name it. Where in the country do you want to go? And what in the country do you want to do? Get really specific. If it's you want to live in a certain area, okay, what is that area? What property or type of place do you want to live in that area? And how would you like that place to look inside? How do you want to decorate it? Who do you want living with you? Get really super clear. And that's what I did. And another thing that I did to follow from my routine was I actually had a journal, and in that journal I would write all sorts of things, and I really structured it. So you can free flow, you can structure, but what I did was every single day I would write what I had, and I would make out like that is what I had right now. So I would say to myself, right, I have woken up in my home and it's decorated like this, and I love it, and I feel like this is my safe space. My children, I can hear them laughing around me. I'm trying to remember exactly how I used to write it because I've got a different one now. My children are around me laughing, they're happy and they're with me and they're safe. I live in a home near my parents, and it was literally stuff like that. I have a partner that loves me and treats my children like their own. Honestly, all of these things, and I look back at it now and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's all come true. All of it's come true. All of it. And that is what keeps pushing me to do this, to keep going, to keep creating my dream life, to keep adding more and more and more, because it's exciting, and that's what life is for. It's about adventure and memories and making the most of it. And I want to teach you to do the same. So do those things first. Get really clear, and then I want you to believe it's going to happen. When you believe it's going to happen, things are going to start happening around you. So let me give you an example. If you wake up and you feel tired and you feel like your energy's off, you'll find the rest of your day it's going to follow like that. Sometimes maybe people will go, oh God, it's been one of those days. More than likely it's been one of those days because of how you felt originally. And you've carried that energy with you. But if you wake up feeling like that and you decide that's not how you want to feel and you change that, I guarantee you your day will turn out so much better. I guarantee you it's not going to be one of those moments where you say, oh, it's been one of those days. Instead, you're going to feel relaxed and you're going to feel like you can manage anything that comes your way. People will say to me, how are you so calm all the time? That's because I don't want to waste my energy on things that really don't matter. That's why. Like whilst I've been doing this live, a message has popped up and my solicitor has messaged me. Normally I would crumble, want to come off this to quickly check it because I'd be like, because I'm still not divorced. But I'm like, hey, it's okay. And the reason I'm like that is because I've woken up today going, no matter what happens, I'm going to be able to face it with ease. I can manage this, I've got this, and I'm in the right headspace and the right energy to achieve anything I want to achieve today. And that's how I speak to myself. So the next thing I want you to start to recognize is, how do you speak to yourself? What do you do when something might not go right? Do you blame yourself? Are you quite harsh on you? Do you get really angry? Do you feel really frustrated at the world or at people around you? How do you speak to yourself? How do you speak to yourself? Because I remember I used to speak to myself in such a bad way. Like, oh my God, why did you do that? I'd be like that to myself. I'd be so angry with myself. And then I'd hate the world around me and I'd hate everyone around me. People wouldn't necessarily see that. But deep down inside, I was like this bitter, really angry woman. And I'd go off and I'd cry. And I'd let it all by crying. All of it would come out crying in the shower or in the car where people couldn't see me, because I used to think crying was weak because there'd be a consequence to crying. Whereas now I say, right, what am I going to allow in that's going to really affect my energy and how I'm feeling? If there's something that annoys me, am I going to hold on to that? No, because it doesn't serve me. Am I going to allow that person to speak to me in that way? No. But am I going to then dwell on that and react in a certain way and hold that in me? No. Road rage. Here's a classic example. I'll be in the car, something will happen, and I will not react. And one day, my son said to me, Mummy, whenever we're in the car with you and things happen, you don't do anything, you don't say anything. I'm like, no. And then he'll go, yeah, but this person does. I'll be like, yeah. Why? And I'll always say, because you never know what's going on for that person in that car. We make mistakes, we're human. We do. Some people, unfortunately, will do things that will cause horrific accidents, so I understand why people will get really angry, and I can completely get that. But I choose not to get aggressive. I choose not to physically and verbally get angry. And that's because you truly don't know what's going on for that person. Maybe they are rushing off to hospital because their loved one has been in an accident. Maybe they've just broken up with somebody. Maybe they just had an argument with a friend. Maybe they've just lost their job. Maybe mentally they're not in a good place and they just didn't think. It's the same with people in shops. Say you're going up to the till and then this person reacts to you in a bad way. Before, I used to really hold on to that and think, what have I done? What have I done? Why did they do that to me? And I would go over and over and over and over again, and I'd beat myself up for it. Now I'm like, are they okay? Is everything all right? Like, what's going on for them? I wish I could help them, but I